Hi there.
Hello, gorgeous. How are you?
Ah,
Welcome.
Cheers. Are you ready?
Cheers. Yes.
Now
I am
these
enjoying
are
the
our
last of the pumpkin coffee that I have.
okay.
Hello, gorgeous.
Yeah. Now these are the special mugs that we found.
Yes.
Um,
When
but
we,
when we get famous, we're gonna start our own merch.
yes.
And this, we'll have to be careful. We can't violate copyright.
Yeah, I don't know if this is
So
trademarked. We'll just have to do it in a different font.
yeah, something like that. And I'll consult with a friend that's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to keep it straight. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
anyway, hey, this is Queer Chat, and you are,
Brian.
and I'm Terry.
Yeah.
And today, we just wanted to kick around a bit of ideas. We've done a couple of sessions on holidays. One was, what do you do about going home for the holidays? The next one, very creatively, was what do you do about not going home for the holidays?
Mhm.
Um, but whatever happens with that, the holidays are stressful.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I liken it. It happened so many years when I was active employment in ministry.
Mhm.
I would run out of gas during the holidays,
Yeah.
and
Just
what I
didn't have
meant by
time.
that, yes. Well, no, what was happening is I was going to so many things, doing so many things, so
Yeah.
heavily involved. You know, I just didn't even look at the
Mhm.
gauges, and I would run out of gas,
Yeah. So
and
that is
that became
probably a
a
metaphor as well, Terry.
exactly. Yes, it did. It became a metaphor. And so everybody thinks of all the festive and fun, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's a busy time and a stressful time.
Yeah. I like this. Let's sort of just play with this metaphor a little bit about, you're kind of in your car, you're rushing around, and, we were talking about tips to de stress. So I might
Yes.
say, one tip to de stress during the holidays would be just to pull over. Maybe there's somewhere, where there's a nice view, somewhere where you can just pull over, just get out of your car for a little bit and just
Hmm.
kind of look at nature, look outside. I think that's a great way to de stress. A lot of
Yes.
times we're so busy rushing around that we don't take that minute just for ourselves. And uh, one of the funny things for me is just how smart it is on some level to smoke. And let me develop this just for 1 second.
Oh, you're going the wrong way on this one, but I understand your point.
No, it's
Go
interesting. Like
ahead.
when I
Yeah.
was a lawyer, we were doing diligence and looking at buying this multi-billion-dollar corporation, and we were in this room with all these boxes and doing stuff, and you really couldn't take a break. So I noticed though that we were from the California office, and none of us smoked, but the people in the New York office smoked. So I noticed like one person came in and had their cigarettes, and every so often would just take their cigarettes and go outside, and I'm like, this is genius. You know, so I would just take a break every so often, and I would literally just go outside and just walk around the block in New York City and just
Mhm.
take some deep breaths and relax. And smoking
Deep
itself obviously.
breaths and
What's that?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but deep breaths in New York City might have been better off smoking.
Well, then there's that, but uh,
But I digress.
yeah, but no, I think just one tip, as you're kind of dealing with stress in the holiday season is just to stop what you're doing and just to go outside,
Yes.
or just stop what you're doing at your desk or wherever you are and just take some deep breaths. Like we sort of
Well, and those are a couple of ways to, I guess, segue into the obvious answer. If you're running out of gas, you got to get into the practice of regularly keeping your tank full.
mm. Well, and
Don't
one
wait
thing too on
until
this
you're on
metaphor
empty.
is, checking your tank also.
Okay.
Checking in with yourself. I
Hmm.
think, just just sort of take a break sometimes and say, and just listen to your body and say, wow, do I have a lot of tightness in my back, in my neck,
Hmm.
in my hands? And a lot of times that tightness is telling you that, things may not be quite right. And, you just need to take a little break, and you can just try to de-stress a little bit by checking in with your body. I think that's sort of like looking at the gas tank. And,
Yeah.
you mentioned trying to keep your car full of gas. What are some ways that we metaphorically keep ourselves, kind of charged up and ready to go?
Well, some of my favorites. I have what I call, and this is copyrighted. I have a self-care smorgasbord concept.
Hmm, I like it.
And what happens to me, there are people that do the same thing day after day after day for years.
Mhm.
I do the same thing day after day for weeks, and I'm way out of it. So I can get up and I can some days do reading, some days do yoga, some days do meditation, some days do different type of stretching.
Mhm.
Um, and so there are a lot of those things, just basic self-care, where we get in touch with our soul.
Mm.
And it can be religious, but it doesn't have to be. And it can be tied to the season, but it doesn't have to be.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't say pray, did I? You know, if you're ever not sure what the right answer is in Sunday school, you can always say, "Well, Jesus got up early and prayed," and
Yeah.
you'll hit something there.
Yeah. Yep. So, one of the
Yeah,
things I was
yeah. So I mean, those kinds of self care.
yeah, you mentioned meditation. What kind of meditation what do you do?
I do a couple of things. I do some guided meditation,
Mhm.
and
I
there's
think
a
you said
lot of those.
you had a free app that you use that you got some
Yeah,
meditations from?
right. There's a number of things like it, but I have one that's called Insight Timer, and it
Mm,
has some paid things on it, and it has some free things on it.
okay.
It's not just a hook to get you to buy stuff. It has
Yeah.
loads and loads of free material, and then there's also various apps and programs for niche groups. Like
Mhm.
um, there's a group called it's a nonprofit, but it's called the Veterans Yoga Project,
Hmm.
and it's for veterans
Yeah.
that they do yoga, things like
I've
that.
heard some people find stress relief. There's an app called Grinder that people use. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I joke in a way on that, but I want to use that as a little bit of sort of a transition as to maybe what might be some less healthy ways for us to manage stress. And so, I think that, I'm all sex positive, as you're aware, but sometimes, I think there are some, maybe kind of a hookup just to release some stress. There may be some, for some people that may create more problems than it's worth. And I think about, well, oh, I want to have a drink, or I'm going to have a piece of cake. There are some things that we do, maybe thinking that's going to relieve stress, that might contribute to more stress. And I'm just curious from your experience if you wanted to comment on any of those things that might provide a temporary relief of stress, but then cause more problems. Any insight on that?
yeah. Well, it falls in that theological category of it depends.
Mhm.
And so it largely depends on how we handle it. Um, I don't make a secret of the fact that I'm involved in 12-step groups. And, uh, so I do have some addictive behaviors in my past, and that are the the addictive personality traits are still there.
Mhm.
You just learn to not satisfy them.
Mhm.
But so, for one person, having a nice glass of wine during the holidays,
Mhm.
maybe they're out bustling about and shopping or whatever, and they just have a chance to stop. that may be very relaxing.
Right.
For somebody else, it could be destructive.
Yeah.
You know, you joked and you mentioned grinder, but addiction
Mhm.
covers a lot of things, and the dirty little secret about it is that the things that damage us are good for others.
Mm,
And
right.
so, you know, you could kind of sum it up with the rule, you know, the biblical concept of moderation,
Hmm.
uh, you know, the right amount of each thing in our lives, balance,
Yeah.
and that, you know, having a good balance in our life brings some relief.
Yeah.
I thought of one,
Mhm.
um, and um, and that's and I thought of it after you mentioned looking at the beauty of nature. One is to escape from electricity. You know, everything at Christmas is
Sorry,
battery
what
operated
the
or
video cut
electric
out? What did you, can you
or in
repeat what
some
you
way
said, Terry?
motorized.
Can you repeat what you
I
said?
said to move away from the electric.
Mm,
It seems like everything around Christmas is battery operated or it's electricity driven
noise.
and it's bright and it's bold and it's in your face.
Ding, ding, ding,
And
ding. Yeah.
yes. And so if we can just get
Mm,
a few moments of silence or solitude,
mm. Yeah.
that can be a help.
Yeah. You know, that might be just taking a mini vacation from a device, you know, just kind of putting down your phone, your iPad or whatever, where you're, you know, maybe just doing that kind of dopamine high of like scrolling through things. Yeah.
I am not on my phone too much.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, there's lots of things we turn to for sort of almost like a quick fix that can create more stress. I mean, I
Yeah.
know every time I look at the news, I get stressed out. You know, kind of have to be careful what I read in the, you know, New York Times or Washington Post, whatever. So, um, I think another thing, if you have like
Right.
a darling little pet, you know, you can take your little pet,
Oh,
and that can be a nice
oh,
kind of stress reliever.
are you taking care of it until you give to that Christmas present?
Listen, you would bring this girl back. Ah, see, she turns into a gremlin. She's sweet for about 20 seconds, and now she's like spinning around like a little dirt devil. So anyway,
Yeah,
um,
no, pets are phenomenally, you know, it
yeah,
is, if you just put your hand on the back of your cat or your dog or, you know, probably not your fish, but you know, just being able to touch an animal,
mhm.
it just it's like it sucks all
Yeah,
the stress out of you.
yeah. That's scientifically proven. Like petting your dog relaxes them, relaxes you. So yeah, that's something definitely should try. So
Yeah.
any as we kind of
Well,
wrap up, any final things you're thinking about with regards to how do we uh, de-stress? Let me give you one last one, and then I'll let you wrap us up. Feel free to say no. You know,
yes.
like a lot of times in the holidays, you're asked to do so many things. There's so much stuff. You got to go here, you got to go there. I think a big way to kind of create some space and some balance is to say no. And so,
Yeah.
you know, feel free to say no. You don't need to give an elaborate excuse or anything. You can just say, you know, no,
No,
I'm
thank you.
sorry. I'm not going to be able to do that. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for asking. And that's it. You don't have to give some reason. And, you know, so feel free to say no with impunity.
Yeah, and so I think my final thoughts, I would wrap it up in about 95 words. The one you just said, decline. Of course, you can always depart if a situation's difficult. You can deny that it's just you just say no, that's not what I'm into. You can deliberate. You know, make sure that what we're doing, we're doing it because we want to. Be deliberate about it. You can deliberate, and by that I mean think about the things that sometimes we lose, and the meaning of something and just go back to think about that. And of course, you can always depart
Hmm.
because if you don't like what's going on where you are,
So,
there's places where it's not going on.
are you
And
done?
so, and you can come up with your own D's.
Are you
Um,
done?
am I done? I'm done for, dear. Yeah. So, what would have been a great crescendo would have been if I now had one great D that just brought it all together.
I figured you wouldn't have said that unless you'd had it. So please discuss. Don't digress.
I'm afraid that I have digressed. I have, I have failed to deliver.
Well, damn you.
But the
Well,
key
it's
in all
pretty.
of this
Yeah, I think that's the big point is
is,
no matter what's going
well,
on, you got to find the humor in things that are happening. And I think that's what you and I always do so well together is we always find the humor in the situation. And then at the end of the day, if you can find something to be funny, then you can get through just about anything. So,
at least it amuses us.
yeah. Well, thanks, Terry, again for this wonderful discussion. I look forward to seeing you again next week. So, this is Queer Chat with Brian.
And Teri, bye bye.
Bye.